How's everyone doing? Kalzain back with another video, but today we're going to be talking about something a little different. I got some Destiny 2 footage rolling in the background, but there's something that I think really needs to be talked about in the gaming community. And Protomario made a video on the same subject a couple days ago, and I want to continue off of his video. And I'm also going to link his video in the description because this is an issue that affects all gamers across the board, no matter what game you're playing. And if you're not mad, you should be. And that is microtransactions. Now, microtransactions used to be something that were completely optional, really didn't affect much. You know, in World of Warcraft, it was a pet that could walk with you, you know, an outfit for like a holiday theme or things of that nature. But as time has gone on, we've gotten to this, what would be considered pay-to-win microtransactions, and that's what happened with Call of Duty. It's kind of what happened with Halo. And Destiny 2 is on the verge of going pay-to-win. But now we have something that really bothers me more than anything, and I'm going to go ahead and say that the game I'm going to reference coming up is not the only game I've seen this example of. But it's a single-player game with microtransactions to help you pay to win in a single-player campaign, a single-player environment, and that is Shadow of War, the successor game to Shadow of Mordor. And I'm going to go ahead and be blunt and honest with this. This boils down to people not wanting to take the time to invest in the game, not wanting to acquire the skill to complete a game, and just simply being lazy. It's gotten to a point to where greed and laziness are killing the game industry, because at one point does this end? If you've got pay to win in single player games, what's going to keep them from making games come out that are scaled so difficult that you have no choice but to buy microtransactions and commit to pay to win? You know, gamers should have the initiative and the desire going into a game to play it as it is, not to cheat their way to victory, not to buy their way to victory because they have the money in their bank account. You know, and Protomario also brought up another point that this is influencing gambling among kids because you're paying for random rolls on things like that. Like you're buying a random chance at a random weapon, and this is basically no different than putting a coin in a slot machine and pulling to win. This is not the direction the game industry needs to go, and I guarantee that if this is not taken care of, people don't stand up and say, hey, we've had enough. We're not going to pay for it anymore. It's going to continue on. That's what happened with DLC and paid DLC. That's what happened with expansions, and that's what's happening now with microtransactions. And you want another single player game that has this pay to win kind of mindset, look at Assassin's Creed Unity. Some of the costs on some of the weapons were so ridiculously high that unless you grinded for a long period of time, it would take you forever to get enough money to get a sword, the highest end sword. But if you went in with a few bucks and bought some hack codes on there with your microtransactions and hacked a weapon, you could get it for a few bucks. Now, what the fuck is the point of playing the damn game if you're gonna buy everything in it? The only way I can see microtransactions even being remotely acceptable is if in games like Call of Duty or Destiny or things like that, if every gun has a price tag and is steep enough to make people not want to do it that way. You know, buy the random ones if you want, but I mean, going this route, it's starting to become a serious problem in terms of marketing, in terms of fairness in the game, and in terms of just integrity on the company's parts. Because these companies, all they want is more money out of you, and that's why they're doing this. They know that you'll buy these because taking the time to get the guns takes longer than you have. So they know you'll empty your pockets buying these microtransactions and fueling their money machine. But the trade-off, you know, the thing would be if they're going to do microtransactions and, you know, bleed you dry for money like that, then every game should be like a 10 out of 10 game. There should not be flop games that ask you for microtransactions, or games that you pay for microtransactions to have a sequel come out that tanks. That's not right. Now, Destiny hasn't fully endorsed pay to win as far as we know, but it definitely shows signs of moving in that direction. And that all started with the Eververse and Destiny 1. and the factor for paid DLC. Now, these are things I love Destiny to no end. I do. That's why I built my channel on it. But microtransactions are going to ruin Destiny if it goes too far. Now, with Destiny 2, you've got the Pop-Tart promotion that gets you XP bonuses. You've got the Rockstar promotion that gets you actual engrams in-game for actual gear. Which, with no random rolls on weapons anymore, if you get legendaries, then you're buying legendaries by going and getting these energy drinks and fueling this. You know, among the Eververse returning and pre-order bonuses, and now they get a fucking Sparrow if you have internet with Virgin Fiber in the UK. So now you're getting free shit if you have the right internet provider. This has got to stop. All these promotions, all these over-the-top deals, all these microtransactions, it's corporatizing the game industry to a point to where it's sickening to see all this. Now, I'm not going to buy Shadow of War. I'm not going to pay full price for it. I might play it eventually to review it on my channel, but I think that there's a problem when a company is willing to say that you can buy your way to victory in a single-player game. You shouldn't be able to buy your way to victory to anything, but at least in Call of Duty, you may buy the better guns, but you still got to have the fucking skill to use them. You know, and now they're saying, hey, you don't even have to have skill anymore. So what are we coming to, guys? What is the gaming community coming to when we allow companies to rob us for money for paid DLC, content that should have been in the game to begin with, and buying our way to victory instead of gaining actual skill like you used to do in the good old days? There's no microtransactions for infinite lives or extra lives in Mario or Super Mario Brothers, but people still played the shit out of it anyway. You know, this is a problem that is going to kill the game industry because it's going to get to a point where if we don't say no, microtransactions are going to be the normal. They're going to be required at some point. They're going to push people to be forcing them to pay for microtransactions because they're going to make games either too difficult or too stale without paying for them, and people aren't going to play them. It's time to stand up. Tell these companies no and stop buying microtransactions. Buy paid DLC all you want. You know, if they have microtransactions in a game for a certain skin that doesn't affect your playability and you want to buy it, that's your money. Go for it. But if you really want to see this microtransaction fetish end, you need to stand up and say, no, we're not going to buy them anymore. We're not going to give you our money on this. And we're not condoning what is going on. Because this is wrong. It's unfair to lower skilled players. It's unfair to people that are in lower income brackets, because if you don't have the money and you have to grind for weapons and everyone else already has the good weapons because they have deep pockets and bought them all, then you're at a disadvantage, and that kills the playing experience for you, and they're basically faulting you for being poor. And that's not right either. You know, this is something that I'm really upset about. This really pisses me off because this is something I have done since I was a very, very young kid. I grew up with a Super Nintendo, an original PlayStation, a Sega Genesis, and gaming has been something that has been a part of my life the entire time I've been alive. And to see it being ruined by dollar signs and laziness it's ridiculous. This is unacceptable, and the gaming community deserves better, gamers deserve better, and companies should be held to higher standards and forced to do better. So, do me a favor, share this video around, share around Protomario's video, and let's put an end to this microtransaction shit and go back to making gaming how it used to be. You know, I want a good gaming experience that's fair across the board, that when a title comes out and you pay for it, you are paying for a completed product. You're paying for a game that has every mechanic built into it, that you don't have to pay for more to make that game be worth your money and spend $200 turning a $60 game into something that actually feels like you got what you paid for. So, I'm going to close this with, I'm not blaming people that pay for microtransactions. You guys do you. It's your money. I'm not going to tell you how to spend it. But I am going to say that if you guys don't stop doing this, that this is going to be poison to the gaming community. And at some point, it will kill the gaming community. It will kill gaming for casual players and for lower income bracket people, because casual players aren't going to invest enough time into it to make it worthwhile spending the money on microtransactions. And people in lower income brackets simply can't afford to pay for microtransactions, and you're going to lose a huge chunk of the player base, which means sales are going to dip, which means quality is going to dip, and that means you're going to have less people playing and a less enjoyable experience. So take that with you. Let's put an end to this, and I hope you guys support this movement. Let me know down in the comments section if you think I'm going overboard or whether you think that this is the right move, putting an end to microtransactions. So, if you like the video, like it, share this around to everyone. Share it on Facebook, share it on Twitter, share it on your own YouTube channel, share it everywhere you can. I want this to be heard. And if you're new to the channel and you want to help me support this, show me your support and go down there and hit that subscribe button. And stand with me, and stand with Protomario, and stand with the rest of the gaming community. Until next time, guys, I will catch you all later, and I will see you in the next one.